Yeah, talent acquisition's way more slept on. I would say it's way undervalued, underrated compared to a lot of other things business owners focus on. And they don't put time to it. They're just like, oh, I need this person. Get on Indeed and just get this person. It takes hundreds of interviews to find the right person, and then it takes time to train and get that person on the same wavelength, believing in your vision, and then getting them to be a successful member of your business is a whole other thing. So
Yeah. Have you heard of what Telegram does and like how their talent acquisition pool is?
no.
Dude, it's actually really unique. Josh brought it up to me, and they have this like what school is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have like a school network where they'll have a competition for all their engineers.
Oh, cool.
And they literally will just pull from that. So it's like people that are competing in this like highly competitive market for their talent pool.
Yeah, I've actually heard of that for different engineering firms and different law firms and different things like that in there for sure. Yeah, it's cool.
Really well because it's like their Telegram's revenue per employee is like in the hundreds of millions, which is obviously a different scenario. You can do that when you're an engineer.
Yeah, for sure.
The scale, but
Mm-hmm.
it is interesting to pull from like a warm market that already, at the very least, they already understand a bit of your culture.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think like companies like that, the companies that are, I think growth is almost sometimes easier to manage than stability. Like being a stable company is harder than being a company that's growing quickly.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, it's like when you're fast growing, there's so many new things that are developing and then new stuff that you got to go do.
Absolutely.
You got to go build new stuff, and then you got to hire somebody to build it. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things, but
someone to maintain what has been built by someone else.
Yeah, sure. Everything good? Everything sound good?
Yeah, no, we're solid, man. I think we've been going live for a minute, so. But dude, didn't you you got connected up to the Schneps, right?
Yeah, so Connor Schneff is like one of my best friends and business partner
Really?
for all of our entities and stuff like that. So
Dang.
we're really tight with the whole family, and it's awesome.
That's crazy. Did you marry in at all, or?
No. So Connor Schneff is the oldest son of Mark and Carrie, and they have 4 kids. And Connor's like my best friend and business partner. Myself, Calvin, and Connor were the 3 owners of basically like all of our businesses. So we spend tons of time together. And then Connor's wife, Bree, my wife, Courtney, and Calvin's wife, Allie, are like the ammo wives. And they're all really close friends and stuff like that. So
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah, it's super cool. We spent a lot of time on the farm, and we started manufacturing ammo on the farm. That's where we did all of our work. And we still have a little shop factory over there too.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. And then they're also kind of connected with the Barneys, right? They like pretty much ran Queen Creek, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So to give you a little backstory on that not too many people know, Connor's dad, Mark, is one of the most incredible humans I've ever met. Him, Gardner, and Sossman are the 3 founding fathers of Queen Creek. So basically what happened was Mesa was trying to take over the area of Queen Creek.
Yeah.
And they were going to essentially annex it. Like they become Mesa, essentially.
Yeah.
And they decided to incorporate it and turn it into Queen Creek. And then Mark Schneff was the first mayor of Queen Creek when he was 27 or 28 years old. I can't remember. But it was really, really impressive. They did that. And now look at Queen Creek. It's the second or third most like fastest growing city in all of Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool. And it's exploded in terms of population. And then it's one of the most affluent cities in all of Arizona as well. So it's really incredible. Farm town that is now worth so much in terms of real estate and all their good stuff. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. So did you know them before they were like pre-rich?
Who are the Schnaps?
Schnaps.
No. So I wouldn't say like pre-rich. I would say that they've worked really, really hard, and they developed like, I don't even know how to explain, like they're 4th generation farmers. Yeah. So as time goes on, like the way a lot of farmland gets developed across all sorts of different states, not just Arizona, farmland is large. It's vast. You tend to own thousands or tens of thousands of acres, and it's worth diddly squat.
Yeah.
You farm those, and that business is the farming. And then as development happens, you begin selling off those pieces of property because the yield is worth nowhere near what the value of the property is to a developer.
Right.
So you just got to think of it on macro, top-down commercial real estate level. Like if you farm an acre of corn and that yields you a couple $1,000s a year, which is a good yield potentially,
Yeah.
versus high density real estate that could yield you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So as time and developments gets pushing and cities expand, it eats into this farmland. So farmers tend to become wealthy off the sale of their land, not the occupation of being a farmer. It's actually funny. It's nearly impossible to like sustain your life being a farmer. It's so challenging.
Yeah.
There's not too many people of it. So agriculture space in the United States of America is really, really tough, and it's a huge fight. And I know it's extremely challenging, and I know there's a lot of different boards and committees going around right now to try to preserve that. But the nature of the commercial produce, commercial farming, exports, imports, all that stuff, it's hard to yield. And that goes the same with poultry and cattle and all this other stuff. It's so challenging, and it's transforming into, instead of that being a portion of our economic like platform, we are seeing a lot of people in the farm space or in the cattle or poultry. It's more of like it's more entertainment, and or it's more of a hobbyist thing.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of homesteading.
Yeah, exactly right. Like my wife, for example, wants a bunch of cows and chickens and a bunch of stuff, not for just us, because it's a luxury to have that.
Yeah.
That's like the root of it is like it's cool for her to do that, or for her to want to do that.
Yeah.
In reality, like we could never make a living farming or doing anything like that.
Not.
So to go back to your question, as time goes on, these landowners sell their land to developers over time, and then that is what they kind of live off of, and that creates their like stability or level of wealth. Obviously, you look at the big picture. If they didn't sell any of that land, they could have been worth a lot more. But catch-22 that if they didn't sell, the surrounding development makes your property worth more. So that is like the commercial or residential real estate mindset of like, listen, if you live on a residential street, in a rundown area, your neighbor remodels their house and then sells their house. Wow. You now have a comp of your house that's going to increase the value of your house when you remodel it and sell it. It's the same thing. When you have commercial development around other areas, what's going to happen to the land price? Land price is going to go up. Yeah. So that's kind of like the thing. And the guys who hold on to those particular pieces the longest are typically the most successful. So that's why you'll see a lot of farmers, landowners, whatever the case may be, develop surrounding property, leave the corner pieces, leave some of these anchor lots and spaces last to sell, because those are the ones that could yield the most. So if I have 10 acres and I have 4 acres of that roadside, I'm going to sell the 6 acres not roadside, let it develop, let my 4 acres 3, 4, 5, 10x in value, because the demand's more. So that's kind of the point with a lot of that stuff. And it's actually very interesting. A lot of those people in the United States, and this is happening a lot in the Midwest right now, they're not as, their net worth is insane. Like there's a lot of farmers in the Midwest right now that have hundreds of millions of dollars in net worth and $50K in the bank because of the liquidity and how it works. And they call it land poor.
Yeah.
So it's like you hear the phrase like house poor.
Yeah.
Because you have all your assets tied up in your house. That's how it is with the land. And the only way you can convert the land to cash is that cash has to have positive yield through an investment, farming, whatever the case may be, or the land gets sold, the value of it gets converted to cash, and then that's it. Yeah. And then after you sell it for cash, it's done. Like you only get to sell it one time. You don't get to sell it tons of times.
Yeah.
Unless you lease the land, and then you'll never get the yield. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's fascinating. So
yeah,
it's cool to learn. It's cool to be exposed to a bunch of different people in the agriculture land game. A couple weeks ago, we were just up north with our close friend. He has tens of thousands of acres in eastern Arizona, and he ranches cattle, and he has like a little over 600 head of cattle. And we did a roundup, which has been essentially it's like a little tradition. And we go up with the families, and then we, castrate all the cows, go through all the checks, do all the stuff, initiate medicine to them, the whole nine yards, and check on the whole herd, do the counts, the checks, the whole 9 yards. So it's really cool. But that way of life, that Yellowstone like mentality, or whatever the most people would view that as, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Is kind of like a lost art. And the only people that can maintain that are the people that are in it. And there is very, very, very little financial like benefit or reason to continue to pass that, unless you're truly someone to really find value in the consistent heritage of it. And in terms of the finance side of it, like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's a dying breed.
Sell the land and don't worry about the headache of the cattle or the risk or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I think the shift is going to happen, where we're going to see a lot of people over the next couple of years, one of our friends included, kind of make the shift into something really cool. And it's like a modification of agritainment. So my partner Connor and his dad came up with this zoning, and it's essentially like agritainment, which is agriculture, entertainment together. And it's a really cool zoning package they built, and that's what the farm has, so that they can host 4th of July parties, launch off fireworks, and do a bunch of different stuff in the agritainment space.
Yeah.
So I think that is what's going to happen with some of these other cooler, or what I think is cool, like cattle ranchers and some of these other farmers, and more widespread like poultry and other produce and all this other stuff. I think they're going to find a sweet spot in maintaining their livelihood through this type of entertainment based stuff, because that's what people are going through. Think about all the people that love homesteading and all the stuff, and like, your wives may love it, and like, you might have to spend tons of money on organic groceries like I do, and like, it's just like that's where it's going. So
yeah, well, because Schnepp's Farms has probably the most successful agritainment out here in Queen Creek, because that place is popping.
Yeah, I think in Arizona for sure. There's some huge agritainment places across the country that are like disgustingly huge. And it's really cool, and it's really awesome to see. And I wish there was more of it, but it's just, I think the Schnepp family does an incredible job of like holding up the heritage of what Queen Creek is all about. And like, there's so much fascination to me on being on the farm, and there's just so much. And like, the farm is full of buildings in the main stretch that, I mean, has so much heritage. Like, the main stretch of that road in between the entire farm was a runway for the Flying Farmers, which is a group of farmers that all flew airplanes, which was Connor's grandpa and all these other people. It's really fascinating, super amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then all those houses you see in Schnepp Farms are actually farmhouses or other buildings that have been taken from other farms that other people have sold off, and they took the heritage and they kind of kept it with it. So there's a lot of history behind each building and different things. And like, the original house Connor's grandparents lived in was like lifted up, relocated, and put and converted to a museum.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff around the farming space that I think is going to be a lost art. Like, I think our great grandkids are not going to know, like, this used to be orange groves, or this used to be farmland before all the development happened, Yeah. So pretty fascinating stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy. It's like you said, dying breed, but that's like a lot of things nowadays. I was just talking earlier that there's like a huge shortage in like trade workers. Like,
sure,
they need electricians and plumbers like crazy right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's fascinating. There's a lot of different trades or businesses that are not sexy, but they really are when you think about your consistent income, your demand, and different things like that in terms of working in that type of workforce and those skills that you're able to acquire, and then how fast you're able to acquire those skills.
Yeah.
Like if you want to become a doctor, like it's going to take you 8 years
Yeah.
or longer, and then your risk reward of doing that is a lot of these people that are unsure leaving high school can get in these trade schools and within 2 years make 6 figures a year is pretty insane.
Mm-hmm.
With a skill set that is specific, but very, very utilized and needed.
Yeah, true. We always are going to need buildings to live in and businesses to work out of.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty secure and safe. I think commercial development and residential development is obviously leading way more towards some of that new AI, pre-built, prefab construction.
Yeah.
But I think it's years away from being way more automated. It's going to get there though.
I don't know. I disagree with that one. I don't know if you've ever done trade work before, but if you're on a roof and you're just roofing, you're like, there's no way a freaking robot's doing this shit.
That's exactly what the guys were thinking on the Model T assembly line.
Hey, that's what somebody else said recently, but
that's exactly what they were thinking. And if there's a way for you to do it, there's a way for it to be automated.
I mean, the concept makes sense, but dude, when ChatGPT gets things wrong, like it just makes me just doubt it so much. It's not going to happen in our lifetime. That's really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen in our lifetime, especially with construction and all the prefab stuff and like how it works and like how builders build homes. My dad's in residential construction, and like learning about how this home gets built, like it's so fascinating. They're able to do it and get their costs down because of all the prefab stuff, all the pre-planning, all the other stuff that makes their home building way more efficient compared to how it was 5 years ago, even 15, 20 years ago. It's massive leaps. And I think with this technology stuff, 5 to 10 years from now, it's even more robust and more advanced, and there's less waste, there's less scrap, there's all that stuff. So to kind of think about it, like in this home we're in now, like all these are prefab trusses and all other prefab stuff. They don't get a pallet of lumber delivered to the front yard and say, here's your frame design, enjoy the next 3 weeks framing all the trusses. Those are cut, done, assembled offsite in facilities by robots or specific laborers that are only doing that, becoming way more efficient. Your trusses are delivered in pallets. They're palletized. They're on semi trucks. They're delivered and they're installed. Super, super efficient.
Yeah.
In terms of all the other stuff, in terms of concrete building and then 3D printing, everything. Like there's going to be so many buildings that you're going to see 3D printed. It's so efficient, effective. It's like kind of those new technologies come out. They have like this, this is going to take over. And then it's like, no, they kind of like sneak away for a little bit and they slowly ramp up in terms of technology. 3D printing was that perfect example. It was like 3D printing went to the space. Everyone freaked out. They're like, this is going to take over the world. And then you don't hear about it for a couple of years. And then slowly everything is becoming 3D printed, and injection molding is slowing down and all these different things, especially like in our business with like suppressors. Majority of suppressor companies are 3D printing.
Because 3D printing a suppressor?
Absolutely. It's because it's just the efficiency of that and how they do it. They're able to be consistent. They're able to make tons of different adjustments and flexibility in the printing that you can't do in machining. And that's the same thing I view in commercial, residential, construction, building, all these other things. This type of development gives you so much flexibility where the other things aren't, which is really fascinating and really cool because you can 3D print literally everything now.
And that's true. That's true.
Yeah, when you're bored, look up like concrete 3D printers.
No, I was gonna say because I think that it can go there, but China's buildings that collapse that have been 3D printed just make me not believe it. But if you see the 3D printed houses that they're doing, these ones where it looks like you got some gun that just sprays it down, layer by layer.
Yeah,
it's the problem that I have with it is architecture, is because you can prefab anything
Yeah,
to a certain degree, but when it comes to architecture, that's where the human factor I think has to play a role.
for sure. Yeah, and I think that's a a great point. I think there's a lot of things in the future that the older generation cares about more and more that like I care about less and less. Like I I don't care to have different type of stucco or whatever outside my house. I would love to have it look super modern, 3D printed, and I'd rather have a 10,000 square foot house that looks like, whatever on the
Yeah.
outside than something super fancy. Because I don't see the value of spending more money for my house to look a particular way. That's just me. And I don't know if everyone's on that same, like that egg shaped house. Like I'd live in that egg shaped house. I didn't really care what it looks like.
Would your life live in that?
Yeah, we would probably fight about it, but it doesn't matter. Like it's probably like that's value.
Yeah, you're just saying like the minimalism is taking over more than the
minimalism. Yeah, it's goes in waves. All the cycles goes in waves. Colors in and out. Follows fashion. Follows all this other stuff. And minimalistic buildings is what's so popular. That's why all these people are building barn doors and basic structures and square crap. And 20 years ago they'd be like, I would never live in that square warehouse looking building. But now it's like almost a flex.
It's like trendy
to live in a building that looks like that. And I don't care who anyone is, it's always cool to save money. And no matter how that is in a $100,000 house or $100 million house, like it's cool to save money. And people like tend to go to that,
Mm-hmm.
like no one's sitting here and saying like, oh, all these new build houses in these newer communities have smaller backyards.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not buying that house because it's a small backyard. You're accepting that you're getting that small backyard because you're getting all the benefits of all the other amenities you're getting with.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of communities you see in Arizona tend to have smaller backyards, but they have more community amenities, which is really cool. So
unless you're in my neighborhood,
yeah,
you get nothing.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And then you still accept the fact like this is the house that I want to live in because it matches my budget. It's high enough quality, and then there's the different levels of compromise. And I think those levels of compromise we're not to yet, but we will be to very soon.
Yeah, the future's going that direction, so it's hard to deny that's what everyone's going to try to do at some point. So
yeah.
So when are you 3D printing guns?
Yeah, right. I'm not talking about that on the podcast. We'll end up in jail. But it's that's 100% reality, and that happens all the time. And there's tons of components that are already manufactured through 3D printing.
Mm-hmm.
Suppressors is just the first one. Suppressors, grips, handles, all sorts of stuff. Like we've like anything can be 3D printed essentially. So
yeah, but you're not like manufacturing things in house and selling them at Unlimited Ammo, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
you are?
Yeah, completely. So I'll give you
like fork grips and like things like that you will manufacture and resell?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a whole line of 3D printed
that's really
stuff.
smart.
Yeah, we're manufacturers kind of heart. So I can give you the rundown of like how it works. So my business partners, Connor and Calvin and myself, we own our holding company. And our holding company has 7 businesses that we run and operate in the 2A space. And the 2A space, for people that don't know, is like the Second Amendment space.
Yeah.
So firearms, ammunition, accessories, all that other stuff that kind of falls inside that umbrella. So to start, we have Unlimited Ammo. Unlimited Ammo is our ammo manufacturing company. And we essentially we started making ammunition in a shed, and now we've scaled, and now we have different contract loaders and all sorts of stuff that we manufacture on like full scale. And we ship and sell ammo all across the country through our website. And then our ammunition manufacturing brand supplies that to our retail stores and stuff like that too. So it's really cool. And then we have Unlimited Ammo, which is the name of our Queen Creek retail location. At our Queen Creek retail location, it's 2,500 square foot. 1,250 of it is retail floor. It's a super modern anti-gun shop. So it's really cool. All the accessories, all the cool stuff in there. And then the other half is online fulfillment, ammo packaging, all the other stuff like that. So that's the unlimited ammo side. And then we just recently, 8 months ago, took over a massive project, a 27,000 square foot building that we call Unlimited Ammo and Range. So it's an actual shooting range, retail floor, 3 stories, second stories, all event center space. I have a full-blown restaurant and bar on the first floor. And then I have a whole rooftop bar we're building out as well. So that's a huge portion of it. So that's like one of our biggest like accomplishments, and people know us for that because we have a lot of traffic in those locations, both of our retail stores and then online. And then moving into like more of the back end stuff, we have SOS, Science of Suppression. That's our suppressor manufacturing company. So we manufacture suppressors here in Arizona. They're super cool. They're super nice. They're super quiet, super durable, and they're really affordable. So that's like the coolest thing about them. We manufacture them here in Arizona. We sell them through our stores, and then we distribute all across the country with those as well, which is really cool. And then we do a bunch of other things in the industry as well. We have a thermal target system that we patented that we sell with our partner, and it's a government only. So the last 2 entities are just government only things. And we have a thermal target system that is a training system that we sell to the government. And then the coolest thing that we just kind of released to the public is our drone round. So we manufacture and patented a round that is used for anti-small aerial aircraft.
Damn.
Which
I was
is
hoping
really
you were going
cool.
to say Tracer for a second. But
No. Way cooler than Tracer. Way cooler than Tracer. This is an effective, accurate, like the most incredible solution that's come to the 2A space in terms of defense.
for like civilian purchase?
Government. So right now, drone warfare is like one of the biggest topics, and you guys can see if you guys ever go on Reddit or X or whatever, drone warfare in Ukraine, whatever you've seen, I can nearly assure you it's 10 times worse in real life. Like these drones are FPV drones capable of over 100 miles an hour, 1 to 2 pound payload. 2 pound payload can destroy $1 million tank, multi-million dollar tank. Not only mass casualties, drones are unmanned aircraft is the future of fighting. Right now, we have a blend of technology, just like anything else. We have the warfighter who's boots on the ground. That is what I would consider a little more old school technology, even though the warfighter is equipped with the latest and greatest night vision, weapon platforms, IR, laser, thermal, the whole 9 yards, right? And then you have like 5th gen, new gen, or beyond war fighting, which is through non-manned aircraft, different types of drones, different types of all sorts of stuff. Like we're in a shift of that. There's still boots on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's not only war fighting through drones. So why we have this shift, we have to protect our warfighters from these aerial threats. And the only way to do that is kinetically, which means we have to physically eliminate that threat. The reason why you can't just use different EMP disabling devices is because fly-by-wire, which basically means all these drones are fiber optic in Ukraine. So they have a long fiber roll, essentially, that follow this drone.
Yeah.
Literally miles at times. And they can't be beat with EMP. The only way to get them is to shoot them down. So that's drone round. So yeah, and then
So are you allowed to talk about the drone round, or is it patent?
no, absolutely. Yeah, I'm very confident in what I can and cannot say regarding it. We have a website, Drone Round Defense, and it shows like all the details of that and kind of like a little balance of it. But yeah, it's really cool. We just did a video talking about it, and it's just been posted for like 3 hours. And sorry, I got over 50,000 views. So there's a lot of people that are knowing all about it right now. So
It's this video right here?
yeah, it's pretty cool. So this is our little Anduril style.
Nice. Which
Video.
one's you?
Oh, I'm not filming any of that stuff. I'm in the back directing.
So what's so special about this round? Like, is it kind of like a heat-seeking missile type of thing?
No, actually, it's quite simple in terms of its kinetic performance, it is a rifle cartridge that separates into multiple projectiles. So it kind of turns a rifle platform into a multi-projectile capable platform, like what a shotgun does essentially.
Yeah.
It's just double the energy, double the speed, potentially triple the effective range of those, and then all on the same platform that you can shoot different projectiles out of. So the race, there's a little bit of arms race right now for anti-drone defense.
Yeah.
And it's really the shotgun market versus us. And when I say us, there's other variants of this round that's nowhere near as effective as ours that use BBs and whatever. There's stuff they're using in Ukraine right now. The issue is they can't mass manufacture it. And then they also, the consistency of it's very weak compared to ours.
Yeah.
And then the cost to manufacture, of course. So it's an arms race between shotguns and drone round.
Yeah.
Is the way we're kind of looking at it. The shotgun is very interesting because it's a new weapon platform. So if we're in a platoon or group, you have to have someone designated with that one shotgun, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to outfit your whole squad with a new weapon platform. That costs money.
Yep.
The reason our solution is really cool is because you already have that weapon system on you.
Yeah.
You're just having an emergency mag on your chest rig. You're able to deploy very, very quickly without switching weapons. You're just switching mags. So we manufacture in 5.56, 308, and 277 Fury, which is like, those are the most popular rounds that the warfighters are using. So now, instead of having one person leading the squad with a shotgun, you have the whole team that can swap mags and take out not one aerial threat, but potentially tons of aerial threats in one rip. And you'll see as time goes on, and this is getting into the weeds of it, but the attack drones are not working individually. They're working in groups.
Yeah.
And the way you combat that is multiple people with this platform. There's tons of other quote unquote solutions that are trying to come out there, different nets and different stuff. They're out there. They've been out there for a long time, but nothing has been effective of what we've been able to patent and put together.
Yeah.
And it's taken us almost a year to do it, but my partners are some of the smartest people in the world. They're so sharp. Like, we had a solution. We figured stuff out very quickly. We know what to do. We made an incredible strategic partnership with the fourth largest manufacturer of ammunition in the United States. So now we're manufacturing at like literally the biggest level you could possibly imagine. All the guys on that team, we partnered with the owner of one of the most incredible people that I've got to be acquainted to, and like the level of manufacturing and production and stuff that we're doing is unheard of, and no one in the space is able to compete in terms of level manufacturing. We're capable of doing over 350 million rounds a year.
That's crazy.
So, and everyone else that does more than that right now is just for government stuff. So this is like the coolest thing ever for us in the 2A space, because in terms of this type of, kinetic technology, new things don't come out like this. Like, they just don't. Like 5.56 ammunition, 2-3 ammunition, all this other stuff has been archaic for the last 20 years. There's been no advancements. There's been tons of really cool copper projectiles, super, tons of different variants of projectiles, but nothing to this degree that converts a weapon platform into something way more.
Yeah.
And then that's what we've done kind of on the back end. So the application of drone round is so much more broad than just the current application the government needs it for counter threats, counter aerial threats like this. We just transformed a 60-inch rifle that you could use in a defensive situation in your house.
Yeah. I mean, it also eliminates shotguns, so it's pretty dope.
I'm the first to love shotguns. I love shotguns. They're awesome, but just the capability of the shotgun compared to this is just so much different. Shotgun is different load, has different recoil structure. I don't know if you ever shot like a full auto machine gun or anything like that, but like, you can shoulder this and shoot it very consistent. You have tons of hits on target. I've shot tons of full auto shotguns. They're really cool, but they're really hard to control. And seasoned person, and it's going to throw you on your butt, Where this, you can load in a mag, you can put this in a belt-fed machine gun, you can put this in a minigun, and then that's where the capability really shines. So we have two variants: the K variant, which is 8 projectiles, and the L variant, which is 5 projectiles. So what's cool about that is when you load a mag, you don't have 30 rounds in your mag. You have 240 projectiles that you can dump in less than 3 seconds. That's cool. Take that to the belt-fed weapons platform. And now you have a 308 variant, 277 in the M250. That now you're really talking, because now you're doing 800 projectiles in one belt, one 100 round belt. And then step up one more time to air-to-air combat with other platforms like the miniguns and stuff that has higher cyclical rate, like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 rounds a minute. One projectile, 5 projectiles. You do 15,000 projectiles in the air at a time. You're creating like a wall of projectiles, and that is the numbers game of how you're going to defeat kinetically these drones. Because these drones are smart. The AI in drones are insane. Like dogfighting, if you guys like fighter jets or like any of that stuff, like dogfighting and all this technology, and like I don't know if you've seen like Anduril. Anduril's one of the coolest companies ever. I think Lucky Palmer is like, he's an idol of mine for sure. Mm-hmm. He's a real badass, and he's like real life Tony Stark. And the products that he's developing and coming out with are nowhere near as cool as ours, but he's building fighter jets that are literally like
this guy right here.
Yeah, he's insane. Yeah, it's the coolest thing ever. That product, that drone he built was the Bolt, and then his like vision with Meta and like all the stuff he's done with AI, and it's the same technology obviously, but no, it's just
it's just a different advancement from our typical IR, like
it's on a whole nother level. It's so much more. It's so advanced compared to what we have. Like it's almost uncomprehendable, which is so cool. Like these products he's developing are just pushing the war fighter and our capabilities so far. It's super cool.
Yeah.
The thing with technology always is in our video we just talked about this, is like as long as there's man, there's war, and as long as there's war, there's always like the one-upping. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This person gets a spear, next person gets an arrow.
Yeah, don't bring a knife to a gunfight type of stuff.
Yeah. So there's always so many advancements of all different kinds, and if you're one to believe that we're the only country doing this, this most naive thing I've ever heard. Like you have other countries working on this stuff exponentially as hard as us, and it's super cool. So you see stuff like, a company like Anduril building these like non-manned fighter jets that are like so incredible. Like the days of typical dogfighting is gone, and then these drones are the same way. They have AI to understand, maneuver, and get out of way of threats.
Yeah,
like it's advancing so hard, and as fast as the offense advances, the defense also advances. It's really cool. So yeah, I get really fascinated by all this stuff, and my partners and I I'm not a huge fan of the military industrial complex. I think it's unfortunately super political, and there's a lot of different stuff and a lot of behind the scenes politics that happens in the game on a huge high level. And I never really wanted to be a part of it until we developed a product that we actually know can make a massive difference to the warfighter. And then when you know veterans and you know people and you get a chance to experience or shake hands doing a demo with MARSOC, Marines, or whoever.
Yeah.
And you're like, this product could save that person's life and hundreds of lives or thousands, tens of thousands of lives. You're like, it's like our duty as a manufacturer and developer in this space to bring that product to life and then do whatever we can to get that product in the warfighter's hands, not just for the financial benefit of it, but for the advancement of our country.
Yeah.
So it's multifaceted, you know, and it's a really cool project because there's so many, it's so capable. Like right now, like a big one is Border Patrol. Like these guys need this product so bad. So for us, it's like, how fast can we manufacture this product? How fast can we get it in their hands? How fast can we do all this stuff to essentially, you know, equip our team with the best stuff? This is kind of how we look at it.
Yeah.
So,
that's sick, dude. Have you met a Grand Thumb at all? Or you got any communications with him?
No, I don't know him personally. I have tons of mutual friends. I'm a huge fan. Does great content, but all the other YouTubers in the space I'm pretty close with.
Yeah.
I can confidently say I'm good
Kentucky
friends with a bunch of people.
Ballistics?
Yeah. They're cool. I've never really talked to him too much. I think we chatted on Instagram once, but yeah, there's a lot of other people in the game. I don't know if you watch like Administrative Results. We just did a video with him.
All right.
Super cool. PewView.
Yeah,
Like,
PewView. Dude, he's dope, bro. I watch all his stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that he can shoot a literal washer
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah, we posted with Administrative Results, like teasing the drone round stuff, and then we text each other right after, and then PewView and I jumped on a call, and I was like, dude, don't worry, I'll get you some drone round stuff so you can shoot it. Because he was like,
he doesn't even need the tracer round. He can just shoot it.
Yeah. Well, he saw Aaron shoot. He saw Admin shoot the clay pigeon with 11-inch like rifle, and he was like, he knew something was up because the clay pigeon shattered, and he knew it wasn't a normal round.
Yeah,
because the way it shattered. And then we talked about it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So maybe we get a video with him here shortly.
That's cool.
Maybe we don't. It just kind of depends. Like for us, like the marketing of like products that we sell to the government or what we're working on selling to the government is kind of like, it's like a double-edged sword a little bit. Like you wanna show people your capabilities and stuff so that someone could potentially see it and get it to the right person or whoever it is. But for us, it's more like the education, so that when we're ready to go beyond just government sales, like we have the other entities kind of like, you know, fired up so that they know like all these other agencies, forces, Border Patrol, Sheriff Office, any law enforcement agency, and then personal defense, obviously. So
yeah.
The cool thing about this product, which is really unique compared to a lot of other products in the game, is it can be utilized and sold to basically everyone. Where like my suppressors, for example, that is a very, very commercial thing. Like we are not trying to chase contracts with our suppressors. Our suppressors are designed for the working man, the guy who has the $500-$600 budget.
Right.
We're not trying to make a contract product. Where a lot of people in the space, they just try to manufacture everything. Oh, you sell to the government, you're gonna be rich. And in actuality, it's not really the case. It's way harder. It's way more expensive, and it's a much taller order, much harder to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, like same with ammo products. Like we don't sell any ammunition to the government. We've sold to a couple small law enforcement groups and agencies and stuff like that, just because we can supply them and we hook them up with good deals and stuff like that. But the main bread and butter for all the other stuff is like in the commercial enthusiast market, which is really cool for us. So
yeah, that's a cool place to be, because the government place is like just annoying, because it's like everybody knows the game, you know. It's like it's not actually worth that. You're just pricing it because the government will pay, you know.
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that. It's that's what people assume. They see war dogs, they see all this other stuff, but there's all these government agencies that have been created through this presidency for like DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah. And it's like, how can we save money? How can we be more efficient with our spending, our resources and stuff like that? So the days of, if you just sell it to the government, you're going to be a billionaire I think are way behind us.
Yeah.
I think the people who are going to prevail is people like us that are creating an actual game-changing product that has real implementation, real savings. Because, compared to a normal round, yes, it may be 10 to 15 to 20 times the cost, depending on how you acquire said round, depending on what caliber, etc. But you compare a round that costs, a few bucks versus how much is the life worth.
Yeah.
You're killing a $15,000 drone minimum, and you're saving a couple $1 million tank or more, even though the tanks are way more than $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Just a hypothetical, like that is the efficiency of war that a lot of our government is trying to be efficient on. I think that's phenomenal, and I don't want to make a buck selling to the government because I can make big margin. I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference. I want to provide value, and I think through value is where the return is.
Yeah.
That's the big thing for us and for my partners and I and all of our businesses. It's all about value. Like we want all of our, like we have a restaurant, right? Like we want our food to be of high value. We want you to come in and have a burger and a beer at our restaurant and be like, yeah, I walked out of there. Is it cheap as McDonald's? No. Our ingredients are super expensive and they're really great.
And they're cooked in beef tallow.
And they're cooked in beef tallow. And yeah. And then you're walking out of there going, wow, like that was good value. You buy some of our ammunition, you buy our suppressor, you buy this product. And like, even though like, some of these products are expensive, that it's super good value. And I think that is where a lot of people go wrong, is they're so focused on the monetary aspect of it. They're forgetting that in actuality, you're not making money.
Yeah.
You're creating a product that's solving a problem. Mm-hmm. And the solution is transactionally what you make money off of. So many entrepreneurs and people in business get that so backwards. And it's easy to tell. It's easy to see, because it's like, you charge what? You're doing what? Is that worth it? If you were a customer, would you buy that? Mm-hmm. So we ask ourselves all the time, like, if I'm a customer to my own business, would I shop with us? Mm-hmm. If the answer is no, your pricing structure probably needs to be readjusted. And if you're like, no, like the value of it's really good. Like is it actually good? Or if you didn't know the person that owned your business, would you buy from them? Mm-hmm. If you can't answer that question, you're going to find yourself in a hard space in the market. Yeah. And I think a lot of people do that in tons of different businesses all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring up that concept, because in the specifically 2A market, every single massive manufacturing company in the world that manufactures firearms always sold to the public first. Mm-hmm. If you look at the Civil War, Winchester, of course, that was a private civilian only contract. Mm-hmm. They were just selling to civilians, and then dudes would literally buy their own Winchester lever action rifle for the Civil War because their military issued one was trash. It was a muzzle loader,
Yeah. It's interesting. There's a lot of just like in any industry, there's tons of super large businesses in different pharmaceuticals and every industry has small players and it has big players. Mm-hmm. And in the car space, there's huge manufacturers, there's smaller manufacturers, and there's everything kind of in between. And each are on their own journey of growth and development. So there may be a smaller manufacturer right now that starts really good, and they have, all their intentions, all their stuff, and then big money comes into play, or private equity comes into play, and then your management structure changes, and all this other crap changes, and then it's like, kind of lost touch of the vision and the brand, and like your mission statement kind of just goes by the wayside because you get this thing that's flashing in front of your face called money. And if you can ignore all those red flags and ignore the potential financial benefit and focus on the mission, the companies that truly outline the mission and vision and stay towards it are the most successful, not the ones that get, off their tracks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then in terms of retention for customers, like there's tons of brands that you liked at one point that you're like, no, I don't really mess with them anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because of what? Because they changed their style, their whatever, or they've gone too corporate. Everyone loves like supporting small business, but once that small business becomes medium, there's less fans, and once that medium business becomes large, there's no small business fans. They just look at it like, oh, it's just corporate,
Yeah.
And then the employees of those companies view it the same way. Like, oh, like a worker that works at McDonald's steal a burger and say it's McDonald's. They're worth, hundreds of billions of dollars or whatever the case may be. They're not going to miss that burger. But if that was a mom and pop shop, that burger is huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like a transfer and a very strategic way, I think, about running and managing businesses that my partners and I have a super huge focus on is no matter the size that we get to and the projects we work on, we don't want to lose touch with our customer base, our local customer base. That's why you see my partners and I always in our stores, always communicating with customers, knowing people on the first name basis, shaking hands. Like I'm in the restaurant yesterday having a meeting, and I run to the restroom and I come back and I hear a couple saying that, oh, this is our first time here. Of course, I'm going to go over and introduce myself and say, thank you so much. How'd you hear about us? All these small business vibes that I think a lot of people lose the touch of, or most importantly, lose the bandwidth to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm too busy to do this. I'm too busy to do that. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get us to a point where I can always shake hands with people and always be around. Will I be around all the time? Of course not. I can't be there every day.
Yeah.
But be there often enough so I can be in touch. I don't want it to be like Undercover Boss, where I'm out for 5 years and then 1 year I come in, I'm like, operationally we're doing what? Like, this is unacceptable. I don't want to lose touch of that. And my partners and I are all kind of in agreement. We don't want the business to get like too out of hand, like in that aspect, because we want all of our managers and staff and team and our executive team and all of our employees to like not only respect but understand the vision through the top down so that they're all working for the common goal. And that's how we're going to move the needle the furthest, is when the person at the quote unquote bottom of the food chain and the person that's an executive at our company are on the same wavelength and they have the same intention.
Yeah.
That's what's going to move the mountain much faster. And I think that's a big thing that is really hard to maintain, especially as businesses are growing, because there's so much growth you have to focus on. Man, it is tough. We're going through it right now. And it's like one of those things we're transferring from, like, beginning of this year, we had like 14 employees and now we have like 40. I don't even know how many employees we have. Over 40. I think less than 50, over 40. And there's 100% 2 or 3 people who I have not met yet that have been on our team for a few weeks because I've been really busy. But I will make it like a point to go introduce myself to those people. Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you so much. If you need anything, don't open door always.
Yeah.
And then bringing in upper management and bringing in different executives and different things to kind of like truly run and operate our business. We promoted one of our best guys into director of operations. We just hired a director of marketing. We just hired an event coordinator. Like, we're bringing on a new controller. We're bringing on a new admin person. And like I was telling you before we started the pod, like, we have like 7 to 8 positions we have to hire for. It's going to add like nearly $250,000 in labor a year to the business.
Well, that's just pay. You're forgetting insurance, benefits.
No, don't stress me out. But those are positions that we need to execute, to get the business where we want it to go. Because it's our duty to make sure those people are in place so that we can work on the business, not in the business. And when your owners are so focused working in the business, they don't get a chance to work on the business, and the businesses that don't get to be worked on don't tend to reach the level they can. And you see it a lot with smaller business. And I think the hardest one is the super small business transferring into the medium business, because when you're a small business owner, you're doing everything yourself. Okay, well, if you're doing everything yourself, if you have a taco truck and you're making all the tacos yourself, who's doing the marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing all the other stuff behind the scenes? Who's doing your accounting? Who's doing it? Probably all you. Well, you only have so many hours in the day to do all that.
Yeah.
And the action is making the tacos. So if you're not making the tacos, you're not making money. When you're doing the accounting work, when you're doing the marketing, you're not getting paid. You're investing into the business. And that's the biggest thing, is like, you have to look at it as like it's a game. It's a game. You have to reinvest into it, and you have to find a point where you're constantly manipulating your kind of scenario to fill the spaces and roles with people that are better than you at that position to really see the growth. And I think that's the hard part from small business to medium business, is taking that leap of getting that first employee or second employee,
Mm-hmm.
or where it comes into play to hire that or outsource that one thing, and then accept that it maybe not get done as perfect as you want. We do that all the time. Like, we have different projects and stuff that we have to outsource. And if I had all the time in the world, I'm sure I could just do it. You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
Yeah.
And you have to almost accept the fact that someone else is going to come in and do that, and you're paying them to do that. And you have to accept they're going to give their best, and that's the result.
Yeah.
And you almost have to like accept that growth is worth the difference between the effectiveness of the way you'll be able to do it and someone else can do it. And then if you're any entrepreneurs listening, if they ever read the book Traction, like, it will tell you, we're on a huge traction kit this halfway through this year. We kind of circled back and read that as an ownership group, and all my managers that we had read Traction. And
This one right here.
yeah, it's a phenomenal book. If you have not read it, it is absolutely worth the read. All the level 10 meetings and all the other stuff that comes from this book is really, really valuable. And I think it's, even if you know tons about business or have tons of experience about business, like, it's all irrelevant. When you read something like this, no matter where you're at, no matter how successful you are, it realigns you and reminds you of some of these things that you may know, but it's not at the forefront of your thought process. And that's like one of the biggest things that I recently just took out of reading this again, besides obviously the strength, like overall, the other components this book talks about in your business, is you want to hire people that are better than you at that job.
Mm-hmm.
And being a business owner, you know the ins and outs. You know, for example, I've done everything in our business besides worked in the kitchen, because I don't have any restaurant experience. And the small times I've done that, I was just messed up. So I don't want to do that anymore. Crap. You know what I mean? But I leave it to the pros. But that's kind of the point, is you want to hire people to come work in positions in your business they are the best at. If I hire a sales guy, I want him to be a better salesman than myself. You know, and I want to challenge him to be the best at that position. You hire an accountant, that accountant better be better at accounting than you at accounting. That's like the point. So that's a huge thing that takes, you know, you kind of have to sideline a lot of your, you know, grit behind, because as a small business, you get to do everything. As a medium business, it's like, you really got to trust people in place. And as a big business, you have only the option to trust other people to do it. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of stress. And if you hire the right people and you trust the right people and you build the right teams, the business ops and all the other stuff become seamless. You're able to grow your business to completely new heights. And I think that's one of the coolest things about the growth of the business. And that's why I think it's so beautiful, is like adding people on. Like, I get so excited about having new people come aboard, because I look at it and go, crap, this is going to be a lot more labor. But I look at the benefit. I look at the ROI of that person. I look at like this new event coordinator we hired. Like, it's an expensive position. We just brought 2 people on, and we just added like literally over 10 G's a month in labor in the last friggin' 24 hours. And it's like, okay, well, how much of a difference are they able to make in the business? How is their impact going to have a positive ROI? And then how long does it take to do that? And we think with both those positions, we'll have positive ROI within 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
We look at that, that's a freaking no-brainer. Of course, we're stupid. We should have hired them 3 months ago. Of course, but we weren't ready. But when you do it and you're ready, you're going to get that ROI when you need to get that ROI. But it's very interesting. As a business owner, you cannot look at it completely transactionally. Here's why. You can't just look at that marketing director and say, okay, well, this marketing director makes this. How much is marketing going to improve? How much is the gross profit going to change on that P&L? It's not necessarily about that. Being a smaller business owner, how much are you going to be able to buy your time back by doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you own a taco truck and you're making the tacos, you're doing the accounting, you're doing the marketing. This is just an easy example because it's a labor intensive process. How much time do you get when you hire a cook? All the time of making tacos back. Now you get to work on other stuff, which is booking the events to get your taco truck to those events. Pretty important to move the needle. Now you're hiring a marketing person. Now all the time you have marketing, now you have back to focus on whatever you need to focus on. Working on the business, growing the business, however that looks like, versus working in the business. That's my little example. So in terms of hiring those people, there may not be a direct positive ROI that you'll be able to actually see on the P&L. And in most cases, it's rare to actually see that. But what I can say is I just gained 15 plus hours a week back in my life because I'm not managing or overseeing the content creation side and all the other marketing, all the other stuff I have to do. Okay, well, how much is 15 hours a week worth to me?
Mm-hmm.
A ton. I don't know how much you guys want to get paid, but I have an idea of how much I want to make. And you break that down an hour, well worth it to hire someone. That's the way you have to look at it.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of people are afraid to take the leap of faith to hire that person internally because they rather just say, oh, I'll just outsource it, or I'm not really sure, I'm not really ready, or whatever. That's totally fine. It's totally fine. You have to take your steps based on your cash flow, based on your position. But my question I would pose to most of entrepreneurs is not what you can afford to pay in labor or position, what you can't afford to lose. What is the real opportunity cost of not having that person?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. So kind of fascinating. That's my little hot take with that. It's a really big thing right now that we're going through because we're hiring these expensive positions. It's a lot. These are huge. This is big positions. We got the next couple hires that we have are huge. These are 6-figure plus positions. It's that's a lot. That's a lot of revenue you got to make. It's a lot of sales to cover that.
Yeah.
And then being able to afford it is one thing. Being able to maintain it, and then how fast the ROI comes back. You don't want to burn yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to kind of do it slow and controlled. And each business is special. It's different. Has its own constraints. Has its own positives, negatives, all that stuff. So each businesses do it, and you kind of got to go with your gut, and you got to kind of face your fears to be able to grow.
Yeah. That's good. That's literally one of the courses we're making is business owners is paying somebody 6 figures, because that's, like you said, a huge leap of faith.
Yeah.
So what do you look for in a person that is a 6-figure earner?
Well, they gotta have some type of positive ROI or have some serious buyback for us. And the truth of the matter is, we have a couple of guys on our payroll right now that need to be making 6 figures that we just can't quite afford to get there yet in those positions, but they will be very soon. So I think that 6-figure position is 6 figures is a lot of money in labor. It's a lot of expense related with that. It really comes down to the position and what you need and when you need it and when you're able to replace your time. It's a challenging thing, and I think each business is unique. And I don't think there's a broad answer that covers all of it, but I think a lot of people that get that position fulfilled and they have the right person, and you really take your time hiring that person, when you do get them in and they get operating and get moving, like I will venture to say that you wish you would have done it earlier. Because that's how I feel getting some of these more executive type positions in. I'm like, dude, ask a question like, yo, we have this. Oh yeah, it's already done. Oh, it's already done. Oh, great. I don't have to worry about that. That's sick. Like, how much is that piece of mind worth? So much, but it's also knowing that my business is being taken care of by the people inside of it. And if you want the output of them, you have to give them the input. Like, think about this. Like, the person that makes $25,000 a year versus the person that makes $100,000 a year, who do you think is going to take their job more serious?
Well, definitely not the person making 25 grand.
No, of course. Like, that's just the reality of it. Like, especially when it comes down to like expecting more out of a position or getting someone in that maybe is not worth it right now. We've done that a couple times before where it's like, man, this person could get paid, just throwing a number out there, $18 an hour, right? And that's a fair wage for it. Mm-hmm. But we're actually going to pay that person $20 an hour. And we're going to make sure the sentiment is like, yo, we're paying you more. We advanced you essentially 2 promotions because we want you to take on this responsibility. We want you to do this. We want the most from you. And that person who's expected to make 18 is not making 20 is like, dude, yes. Then they gain the trust of us saying, we're entrusting you with responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I think when someone is in that skill set or professionalism or has those skills from wherever experience, school, whatever the case may be, that's worth 6 figures. That's a valuable person. That person knows their value. And if they're respected and we give them that opportunity to be like, prove it, those are the people who would sell the most. So that's my 2 cents with it. I think there's a lot of businesses that run before they walk, but you have to kind of like gauge the risk and revenue on your own. Each business is so different, so it's so hard to say. Like even the businesses that we own and operate now, like this freaking restaurant, we joke about all the time because it's like a thorn in our side because it's losing money every month, like so much. It's so annoying.
It's all that beef tallow.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's just restaurant business is extremely hard. This is my first restaurant business I've ever owned. Tough. I've never worked in the restaurant business, not at one time. I skipped that entirely stage of life. Like I did other stuff. I never worked in a restaurant. So
yeah,
it's very challenging. Restaurants are super cash heavy. Like it's so much. If I keep going on, it's just gonna piss me off. It's so much, but it's the
fastest way to lose 10 grand a month.
I wish it was.
It's not gambling.
I wish it was losing 10 grand a month. I'd be so happy. But yeah, it's really fascinating. Like you look at that business and you're like, okay, well, man, if I hired a, crazy restaurant manager that got my operations stacked, like there's a lot of questions to be had. Like you can't just hire the best operator of all time and drop them in at $150K a year into that business. That business cannot support $150K a year salary. Mm-hmm. The revenue is just not there. Like the gross profits is not high enough to support that type of person. So if you were to drop that person in, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
But if you dropped in a bunch of revenue producing type people or uptick the marketing or uptick whatever in your own constraints, then you have the opportunity in 6 months from now, whoa, the second we can afford to hire the best of the best, we're going to hire that person,
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good, man. I can't believe we just blew past this hour like that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I always ended out with a question of if you were to start over, because a lot of people watch this are thinking about running a business and they look at someone like you or anybody else and they're like, oh my God, he's so much further ahead of me. Like he's gotten so much done. Like I can't imagine doing what he does, blah, blah, blah. But you were probably in their shoes at one point. You didn't just get handed what you have today. But if you were to start over again, you couldn't go to the path that you're on now. Like, what type of business would you start and why?
Yeah, that's a great question. Before I answer that question, I it's so fascinating because I do the same thing with people all the time. And we just partner with this incredible guy, and he has like over 150 businesses, 4,000 employees,
Wow.
billions and billions of dollars in revenue. And I'm looking at our business going, dude, that's huge. Like 150 businesses. Like we have 7 entities and we're pulling our hair out. Like this is crazy, and we're getting there,
Yep.
And it's like, holy crap. And I think before I address that, I think you're at your position because that's where you're supposed to be. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And you're not always deserving of that greener grass yet. You have to earn it. And if you're not, like you're going to learn the really hard way.
Yeah.
And I think when you try to do something you're not ready for, or you don't have the experience in yet, you're going to learn the hard way. And the hard way in business to learn lessons and to learn stuff is losing freaking money. You lose freaking money. You lose businesses. You lose all this shit. Like we've lost so much money. Like I don't even want to talk about how much money we've lost and how much effort we put into it. My partners and I are working, I'm not exaggerating, literally 100 hours a week or more, each of us. And the last time I got paid was 5 months ago. So it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to do to see it? So someone from the outside looking in is like, dude, must be nice. I bet that place is making tons of money. I'm like, yeah, it's making tons of money so I can afford to keep my employees fed and make sure payroll goes through every 2 weeks. It's not us. My partners aren't cashing checks. We're not doing anything. We're living off freaking savings and the dregs of, crypto. Like, to be totally honest, like that's it. And it's what's kept us alive and maintained.
You just mined Bitcoin back in the day and you just got like it.
No, we're just doubling down and reinvesting into the business. And I think there's so many people that in the modern time that want to be successful and they get super motivated by stuff like that, which I think is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But my message to those people is like, you have to do the work. It's not going to show up. Like it's just not going to happen.
Yep.
There's no quick way to get rich. And if you do, it's not for long.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's so much longevity that I think entrepreneurs need to really focus on. And a lot of people will look into how fast can I make money? What are the quickest ways to make money? I want to make money now because I want this. They have that one materialistic item. They have that one thing. I want a supercar. So many young kids like, oh, I want a supercar so bad. It's insane. It's literally insane. And I've been that kid who was 21 and I bought that supercar and is one of the biggest like setbacks of my life in terms of like how I lived that portion of my life. Like if I would have cared less about like my hobbies and stuff and really invested, I would have lost all the money I made in businesses, learning to do what I'm learning now faster, quicker. So I think that it's so fascinating because motivation to do stuff, you can have materialistic things. And I think that's great. Like I want a Ferrari just as much as the next guy, or I want one specific watch as much as I want the next guy. Like, trust me, no one wants a 5711 more than I do. Like that is like my biggest goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a materialistic item, but in order to reach that goal, I have to do so many things in my life to do that. And using that as motivation is super good, but looking for the fast way, it's almost like good you try to do it fast so you can learn that this is not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And you learn through experience and you learn through failing. And the faster you can fail, the faster you're going to learn. And I think that is the biggest hurdle not too many people really understand. And I look at that now that I've kind of like been through some massive failures and some decent success, looking at other people who are potentially doing better or potentially doing worse than me, the people who are doing better, I'm like, frick, they failed way more. Like they've lost way more money than I have. Like I talked to this guy who owns all these businesses, and he tells me a story. Yeah, dude, I got smoked in this deal. We lost like 40 mil. What? 40 million? Like I couldn't even comprehend that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that's wild. And then it's the same thing as me telling a story of our restaurant getting its butt kicked, me losing tens of thousands of dollars a month to someone who's doing 5 to 10K in revenue a month. They can't even comprehend that.
Yeah.
So I think there's like levels to it, and you can't look beyond the level you're at because it's sometimes hard to comprehend. But I would say use that as motivation to know that that person who has that Ferrari, that has those businesses, that for me, like the cars are not the impressive thing. It's like if you can rent a $600,000 a week yacht, like that's the level I'm like chasing, and like I see is super sick. And it's like that person's no different than any one of us.
Yep.
We're all the same. We all have the same ability. We all have the same hours in the day. It's like, what are you willing to do and sacrifice, and how fast are you willing to fail to how fast you're able to learn to do all this stuff. So that was my little soapbox regarding to the other people that, if they're seeing anyone beyond successful. And I have love-hate with social media because I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I see it, the dude in the new 3RS. I'm like, that's so sick. Like, I want that. Like, what does this bitch do? I like look at him and like, oh, he does this. I'm like, damn. And nowadays, I would be like, frick, should I do that? And it's like, nah. You get your own lane. You find your own talents. But when you're first starting, it's always like, that dude's doing real estate. Maybe I need to do real estate. This person does crypto. Maybe I do crypto. And it's like you kind of like find your path and you figure out what's going to hit, what's not going to hit. There's a lot of fugazi on the freaking social media, so don't get it too twisted. I think the most successful people in the world are not posting their cars on Instagram. So I think I'd be very cautious of that.
Yeah.
For sure, because there's a lot of that for sure, which is really cool. And there's a lot of successful people that do, and there's a lot of mega successful people I look up to. They don't even have social media.
Yeah.
So I think that changes too in the landscape and spectrum of who you look up to and who you get motivated by changes. And I think it's another quick thing to add to that too is like, it's the journey that is the most fun. Like my partners and I talk about it all the time, like going back to the shed and making ammo. Man, we were having so much fun. We didn't have a care in the world. We were stressed about different levels of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Not worried about 6 figures in payroll. Like, what the frick? Like, we were dreaming. We were like, dude, man, there's a time where we're like, frick, I wish we could do 20,000 a month. And now there's a time where we're like, it's 5 o'clock. We're not at 20,000 today. We're going to be fricked. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a whole nother world. And yeah. And I think for those entrepreneurs that are just starting out, or seasoned entrepreneurs that are looking to change their thing because they think that something is going to be greener than the other side, is like, just remind yourself why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it for more reasons and for different types of levels of freedom. And it's not all financial success.
Right.
And I think that's changed for us too, is like, my goal is like to be financially stable for sure, but I would love to spend more time with my wife than have more money in the bank.
Yeah.
So that's something that comes with maturity. But if I were to start it all over again, I wish I could just fail faster and fail earlier so that I could do it more, In terms of everything else, I can genuinely say I have no regrets. I think everything happens for a reason. Like God has a plan, and it's like, as much as I say I want to feel faster and feel earlier, like it all happens for a reason. It all happens for timing, like who you meet, who you do stuff with. There's definitely like a higher power that's controlling all that, and the relationships you build along the way and the people you learn. Like it's happening in your life very specifically, as it's happening in my life very specifically. It's happening in your life very specifically. Everything is happening for a reason, and you're on your own path and your own journey. And to say or wish upon a different journey or different thing would be very contradicting to like my like happiness and belief, because I don't have any regrets, and I don't have anything that I would change. Like everything happened for a reason. Like I went through a series of times in my life where I was financially super stable and making tons of money. And now I've been through these last, I will be totally honest, like the last 2.5 years, I've made the least amount of money I've ever made in my life. And individual level, my business are worth a great amount of money. Obviously it's awesome. But like individually this is the least amount of money I've ever had. It's literally crazy.
For now.
Yeah, no, of course. But like to accept that. And if I were to say to myself 5 years ago, dude, when you're 29 years old, like you're going to have so much less money than you have now. I'd be like, what the frick would I mess up? No, you didn't mess up. Like it's all in the phase of growth. And this phase of growth has taught me so much other things. And I think because everything happens for a reason, like you go through these periods of growth where money is constantly flowing in and out of your life. If you like it or not, it is. You have income, you have all your expenditures. It's constantly going, and a lot of people, as they reach higher levels of success, financial success, and they think they're making more money, they think they need to do more things. They think they need to go to better restaurants, buy better clothing, drive cooler cars, all this stuff. And they live in a better house and they got to upgrade and they got to do this, they got to do that. And it's like looking at this like this time around is the way I joke about it. Is like this time around when I really start hitting it again financially, it's not like our terminology is, when we really start hitting it again, like my goals and my things that I'm going to be focusing on are so not materialistic in terms of what I see value in, and that changes, and it takes the experience to do that, and then failing and then losing to realize you need to do that. Yeah. Even though there could have been someone I could have listened to 4 years ago on a couch, on a podcast saying, this is it. As much as I say it, and as much as someone can listen to it and understand that, the only way you really learn is through doing it yourself. Yeah. It's like trial by fire, and understanding that I can sit here and explain all day, like, you need to fail, you need to fetch up, you need to do all these things so you can learn. The only way you're going to learn and do that is doing it yourself. Like, I can explain to you all day how something works, but until you touch it and feel it, like, you may not understand. Yeah. And that's the whole beauty about entrepreneurship. It's everyone's independent journey, doing their own thing, their own sector, in their own different markets, and their own ability to do stuff, and use the people and network you have around you to help motivate you and push you to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. And that's what it's all about.
Hell yeah, man. So what business would you start? Never answered that.
Oh yeah, I know. No. What business would I start? Nothing in the restaurant business, I'll tell you that.
If you did, you'd change to seed oils.
Yeah, no.
To help with your margins.
No. Yeah. No, it's actually funny. That's not even it. Restaurant's a whole other topic. But I don't know. I think I would love to focus on a little more tech. I wish I spent a little more time doing that stuff. I had an opportunity with my old business partner. We had 2 little software companies that I was an investor on, and I seeded for him. And then he bought me out. He went on to sell those and do a bunch of different stuff. He's still one of my closest friends. And I was really fascinated by software and tech and stuff like that. And then I kind of lost like passion in it. But I think in terms of like ROI and businesses to make the most money, the non-tangible good businesses will always dominate. Mm-hmm. So doing some more stuff like that is really cool. And I think I definitely have some of that in my future, especially in the 2A space, regards to software, POS, a bunch of different platforms. There's so much opportunity. So I think I would like to stay in that space a little more, or at least if I had to do it over, focus on that. Yeah. Business is so cool. Business is like the coolest thing ever. And I literally want to share this. It was a quote I just picked up from my partner, super, super successful partner, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was asking him because he owns tons of businesses, tons of assets. I was like, commercial real estate, like, how much are you diversified in commercial real estate? Like, how much do you own? And he looks at me and he's like, and he's looking at my group, my two partners and all of us, or three partners, we're all there at dinner. Super nice restaurant. It's awesome. He goes, let me tell you something. Commercial real estate is for people who do not know how to operate businesses. And I'm like, the frick are you talking about? Like, I want to take all my businesses and turn it into commercial real estate, right? That's what I used to want. And then he tells us that. And I'm like, what the frick are you talking about? He's like, dude, think about it. Commercial real estate, if you're lucky, has 8 to 13% ROI a year, which is good an investment.
Yeah.
And he's like, think about the business we're working on. It's going to have a 10,000% ROI. It's like, whoa, wait a second. You got to operate businesses. The businesses are what makes the money, you know?
Yeah.
And it really kind of took a different, just again, it's another perspective from someone else that has more experience looking on something totally different. And now he looks at people, how it's like that meme. It's like the dude in the wheelchair looks at the guy walking. The guy walking looks at the guy in the car. The guy in the car looks at the guy at the freaking airplane, right?
Yeah.
It's like the perspective. And where I would look at like apartment complexes or different commercial buildings or hotels, and I'm like, frick, I want to own hotels. Like, that's such a sick business to be in. And then you get around someone that has done that, or who is so far beyond that, they're like, it's not worth it. This is what's worth it.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. The ROI difference is massive because it's like selling a house once or learning how to build houses.
No, exactly. And it's so funny because people think like so on such a different scale of, I don't know, they're just afraid to think that big.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like the hard part. And most people, like 99.99% of people, will just not choose to comprehend that because they don't want to. And what would you do with all that money? What would you do with all that stuff? And that's like, it's like a funny question. So you can't answer it until you're there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you said the same thing when you're in high school. I'm like, man, I wish I had an extra $150 to buy whatever. Now you have $150.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and then now what are your priorities are different.
Yeah.
It's the same way as when you get to a different level of success, your priorities are different.
Yeah.
And I think it all comes down with the least successful people and the most successful people I know. The one thing that stays consistent with all those people, time is the most valuable thing, period. It's the most valuable thing. As a small business owner, as the Fortune 500 company owner, whatever the case may be, time is the most important thing. It's something you can't get back. It is the most valuable. And spending time with your loved ones, with your family, on your health, and time for yourself is absolute most important. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs lose the fact that you're not chasing financial gains. You're actually chasing the financial freedom to do all the crap you want to do.
Yeah.
99% of that crap is just spending time with your family, hanging out, that we take for granted a lot of times. Or when I say we, I say a lot of people take for granted a lot of times. And those are the lessons that I'm learning on my entrepreneurial journey. That's just rehones us back into realizing, like, yeah, spending time with my wife is really, really important. That's like the biggest value. And what am I willing to do for that? Anything.
Yeah.
And it's worth whatever. I don't care. It's worth tens of thousands of dollars an hour to spend with her because that's how much I value that, you know? And it's like, and same with if your parents are in your life, it's the same way. And I find myself like fighting myself saying like, oh, I want to spend time doing this. Nah, I'll just work. Like tonight is a perfect example. Like, I had an opportunity to play pickleball tonight, and after this I have to go do some like contract work. I have a huge contract, this agreements I got to go through. I have to spend like another 2 hours with this attorney later today. It's like, I want to play pickleball with my freaking wife, but I'm choosing to do this shit instead, you know, because that's like the objective, and I'm working so hard. So in a year or 2 years, I can just play pickleball.
Yep. You have your lawyer do the
and,
paper.
and say, I don't need to review that stuff. Have this person review it, or
Yeah.
I'll review it later. Or this is
Yep.
my office hours. This is when I'm actually working on this stuff. So
Yep.
I can spend the time, because I just don't want to be ever regretful of the time I could have spent doing stuff. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's the hard part. So
Yeah. So appreciate all that. Back on the starting a business thing, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have the motivation. And they're like, I want to get started with something.
Mhm.
I want to do something today, or they'll watch a video, or they'll get inspired, or whatever. Like, what's the most tangible thing that they should do right in that moment? Because although motivation is fleeting, you should still try to capitalize on it when it's there. It's kind of like, the idea would be like, do you sign up for a gym membership when you're excited to go to the gym, or do you just wait till the new year to go sign up? Like, what's that first business practice that they should do?
yeah, I think that's a great question. I think one of the things that is the first thing to do is understanding your talents and personality, and either taking an aptitude test or some of these things, like knowing where you can and cannot excel. So if you're a person that was really bad at art, for example, you may not have all the creative juices it takes to be something in the creative space. Same with, if you're not good at numbers, like you might not be able to do this and this. You may need to find a partner or whatever who can fill those voids. So I think figuring out what your talents are and what you're good at, that is a great place to start. And then once you figure out what you're good at, kind of figure out where you could take those talents and resources and create value, in whatever aspect that is. And then kind of study emerging markets, like figure out what type of markets you want to be in. For example, I picked the 2A market, and I'm kind of like honed in on the 2A market because I looked at it and I'm like, frick, this is a huge market. Like, there are so many established players. There was one outlining thing. It was very archaic. There wasn't a lot of technology in it. There wasn't a lot of modern this, modern that, new edge, all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can bring that to the market, how much value am I bringing? Okay, a ton. Let's do it. That's kind of like the thought process. And you have to do that in the same aspect of like, what are your talents? So if you're really, really good at sales or face-to-face interactions, or you're maybe really personable and you can hold great conversations and you have great public speaking and you can articulate your words very well. You may not have sales experience, but you can learn sales. And then that avenue is one of those lifelong skills that you need to be, a lot of entrepreneurs have, is the communications and the sales and whatever that case may be. You can be a door-to-door salesman, selling roofs, selling solar, whatever, make a buck or two, turn that into whatever you want. And I think there's also a lot of stepping stone businesses or stepping stone positions. A lot of people like don't give full credit to. Like one of my old business partners, he's a great guy, and he did cell phone sales because the commission was insane. So he was making tons of money doing cell phone sales at Verizon. That funded all his other crap. Like, that was crazy. And that's what got him off. It's like,
Were you selling flip phones back in the day?
no, selling like iPhones. And
really?
The commission's insane. So if you don't know that, like, there's tons of little opportunities to have space in the workforce that makes money that you can cultivate your talents and grow in those experiences to take to that one thing. And you may not know when you're shopping for that thing you want to like become an entrepreneur, and you may not know what that is. Like, you may have to try like 3 or 4 or 5 different things before you get to that ultimate, like, this is what I want to do. I did that for sure. I've had so many freaking businesses that have done some really good, some really shiz, like, and now I'm like in a place where I've kind of like honed in. It just took a while to do that. There's some of the most successful people in the world haven't honed in until they're after 40 years old.
Yep.
And it's okay. Like, that's okay. You're learning all that. That's why I was so focused about talking about experiences and failing and learning, because you have to do all that to get to that ultimate thing. you know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard to say that you're gonna do your first thing you do off the rip and stay through it. It's
I mean,
freaking
not even
rare.
just the business, but like, is there like, what's the signing up for the gym membership? Because like, you got to know what your business is. You know, you got to know what you're good at, your talents, all that good stuff. But like, is there like a thing that you can create that like will give you that like initial like boost of energy? It's like I think it was like cracking an energy drink. You know, when you want to start a business, like
Oh,
you figure all that out, but like you do this one thing, like.
oh, that's a good question. Like that one like motivational
Yeah.
thing.
Like some people will create something and they'll be like, oh my God, this is it. This is for me, you know, and then they can like show that to people. And even that interaction can like lead to something.
Sure. Like I think what maybe like a vision board, is that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Vision board or website, logo, like something that like is yours, you know, that you have a little bit of pride into, something like that, you know, like what do you like, do you think that's important or like it just doesn't matter?
yeah.
Because you can't just go out in the market and be like, yo, buy from me. And then they'll be like, who are you?
No, of course. I mean, it kind of depends. I would say work backwards in the fact that's like you have to have some type of vision or goal or something you're trying to accomplish or something you're trying to create or whatever the case may be. And then work backwards into branding, logos, all that other stuff. But I would say you have like a personal vision, right? Which is typically like something related to some type of monetary thing or like some tangible good. Like I want to be able to buy a house. Like that's a great one. And then you kind of like laterally say, okay, well, I have this idea for this business or I have this idea of this thing. And then whatever that thing or business is, you create that logo, but most importantly, you create the mission of what that business is going to do. I think that's the answer to the question. Is you have to have purpose behind whatever it is you're doing, whether it's like anything. I don't even know. There's a billion different examples. Every single business has purpose. Every single business has like an effect. Every single business has something that you can add to it that makes it special, makes it unique, gives it purpose, gives it reason, gives your why behind. You can't just sell to sell.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have something behind that you're passionate about or believe in, or no one's going to buy it. People see right through that crap.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe in your own vision and own purpose of whatever that is, it's going to flop. It's going to flounder and it's going to flop out and you're going to eventually quit on it. You really have to have the purpose. And then to even work more backwards in that self-searching, that aptitude, what you're talented at, all these other things, figure out what moves the needle for you. What makes a difference? What do you see that you want to make a difference in?
Yeah.
You know? Then create something. Like if you're like, I want to make less obese people because I'm passionate about my health. I'm passionate about other people's health. I'm passionate about this, and this. Okay. Then you bring that into your, culinary delivery business. Yeah, you're going to be a rock star because you have your purpose. You have your why behind that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you don't give a crap about people's health and you're eating McDonald's all freaking day, but then you're like, I make steak and rice and I sell it for $12 a unit. You guys want it? And you're someone who's not living out your purpose and vision. No one's going to buy that stuff. Everyone's going to catch on that crap. And then it's just not going to, push through.
So you're saying buy from the super thick taco shop?
Yeah. The guy obviously knows his product. It's obviously a good product, But I look at entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, and you like look at this dude's purpose. You look at like Bezos, and look at these guys. These guys, man, it's so fascinating that their philanthropy and all their other stuff. They're chasing so much purpose. They're not chasing financial gains. They're chasing purpose.
Dude, Musk boy's trying to get on Mars. He doesn't give a damn about Earth.
Yeah. He's trying to make an impact for not just our society now, but generations. For everyone. Like, think about that scale. Like, that's crazy. I'm out here just trying to protect my fellow Americans in our communities with product. Get them trained up. Do that stuff. Feed them good food. provide, tools to our warfighters to save lives. That's like super impactful. That's like the biggest thing for me right now is that.
Yeah.
That's small potatoes compared to the people like Elon and all these other crazy people that are really trying to make a difference in like the health space or any of this other stuff, and then the impact of that. So I think it all comes down to your independent values, what you see value in, what you value as a person, what you believe in, what you're passionate about, and then obviously what your talents lie. And then cultivating those talents and then using those. The business is just the tool to get where you want to go and get your purpose across, your vision across, whatever it is. If there's a product associated with it, great. If there's a service associated with it, great. If there's neither, great. There's always something that you can do to kind of make a difference and essentially just cultivate all your good talents and make your visions a reality.
Yeah, just keep failing forward, right?
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, that's a wrap.